There's a reason why mothers are sometimes called mama bears when they protect and defend their children. Ferociously, they prevent harm and hurt from reaching their babies, no matter how old the babies grow to be. Consequently, one Virginia woman did just that, over and over again in the face of rude comments people made to her and her daughters, who were adopted from China. No, they didn't look like their mom, but yes, they were family, and she was going to make a big statement to teach the world a lesson. Kim Kelly Wagner had spent her whole life wanting to be a mother. However, it wasn't until she flipped open an issue of Time magazine and read a story about orphans half a world away that she knew her babies would come from China. She recalled to Yahoo Shine, it was an image of 6 babies sitting in a circle on the floor, and one had the most serious facial expression. That image stayed with me. With her intentions clear, Kelly Wagner started her journey toward adoption. Remarkably, as a woman delving into parenthood on her own, Kelly Wagner lucked out. At the time she decided to become a mother, China was one of the very few countries that permitted single people to adopt. And in 2001, her journey would come to a successful end. That year, she brought home 10-month-old Liliana. 7 years later, she completed her family with 2-year-old Mika. Her youngest daughter came to her with special needs, including a cleft lip and palate with which she was born. In spite of her personal joy and triumph, though, Kelly Wagner told Yahoo Shine that the world around her was less celebratory of her family. Instead, they'd make jokes and ask rude questions about her daughters, who did not appear to be hers by birth. The comments began from the start, Kelly Wagner recalled. We'd be shopping and cashiers or store clerks would say something like, "How much did she cost?" Or, "You could have bought a car for what you probably cost to adopt her." However, Kelly Wagner had responses at the ready in these 2 types of situations. I would answer, "Are you interested in adoption?" she said. If they said no, I would say, "Why are you asking?" My response made them consider the impact of their words, and sometimes they apologized. It wasn't until 2013 that she decided to teach that lesson on a grander scale. After years and years of fielding comments aimed at her daughter's race and appearances, Kelly Wagner took to her Facebook page to make a statement. But it wouldn't be an ordinary text-based status update airing her grievances with the world. Along with the words explaining her frustration, she included images. The pictures showed her young daughters holding placards, each with comments made to them in the past. In one image, her eldest daughter Liliana held up a sign that read, "They hate girls in the country you come from, you know that, right?" The teen wore a stern expression, portraying her apparent disdain for such a statement. Kelly Wagner's younger daughter Mika held up her own sign with a question that might have been even more hurtful. "Why didn't you get one that was perfect?" the placard read. Certainly it was a powerful image, considering the child was born with a cleft lip and palate. "Aren't you afraid they'll hate you later for taking them away from their own country?" read another. Well, a separate sign exclaimed, "I could never take on someone else's problem like that." In total, the gallery contained more than 35 images of Kelly Wagner's daughters and these types of shocking statements and questions. Kelly Wagner accompanied her pictures with an explanation as to why she shared them. "I've tried to explain to my daughters that people do not say these things to be mean, they say them out of ignorance, which is why I'm sharing some of them," she wrote. In response, many of Kelly Wagner's Facebook followers reacted positively to her post and the sentiment she wanted to convey. However, even with her written explanation, Kelly Wagner received some backlash for posting the photos online, with one commenter even deeming them cruel. So, Kelly Wagner followed up her initial post with updates on her family, as well as further explanation of her actions. After a couple years of comments, it's clear that some still do not get it, she said, adding, "Although in our everyday lives things have improved drastically, and for that I'm grateful, I'd like to think it's at least in part because of our activism. Bottom line is this, everyone's story is their own," Kelly Wagner went on. "Would you appreciate strangers asking you prying, intrusive questions? How our family is formed is nobody's business. Simply because someone's different from yourself, it does not give you the right to make yourself comfortable to ask whatever you please about them, most especially children." Nevertheless, in a separate post, she assured followers that negativity barely affected her children, who were confident in their own skin. She wrote, "Not once have my daughters been brought low because of any comment made by a stranger. They realize that the things said are ignorant and treat them as such. Kelly Wagner, whose eldest daughter is now 17 and whose youngest began middle school in 2017, added one final thought-provoking statement. Our intention in doing this project was to enlighten and educate, to hopefully remind us that words can build up or tear down, that they're powerful and that we have a responsibility to use them wisely.